Bombshell report! We have obtained exclusive information and descriptions of photos showing Gwendlyn Brown and Kody Brown in a secret, producer-led therapy session for the new season of Sister Wives. An insider has come forward to Coco Gossip with explosive details of what really happened behind those closed doors. Why did Gwen agree? What was Kody's real motive? And what happened that made it all fall apart? Buckle up, Coco Crew. The truth is more shocking than you can imagine. Hello and welcome back to Coco Gossip, your #1 source for the tea that TLC doesn't want you to see. Get comfortable, grab your popcorn, and turn off your phone, because what I am about to reveal is a bombshell that will rock the Brown family to its very foundation. We have received a tip from a source deep inside the Sister Wives production, a tip so explosive it could change everything we think we know about the upcoming season. We're talking about a secret, high-stakes, producer-orchestrated meeting between the two most estranged people in the Brown family right now, Gwendlyn Brown and her father, Kody Brown. And get this, it was all caught on camera. We have details on the leaked photos, the secret location, and the real reason this meeting was set up. And trust me, it had nothing to do with healing. This was about manipulation, money, and a desperate attempt to salvage a broken image. You are not going to believe what our source says went down behind those closed doors. Okay, before we dissect these leaks and expose the truth, you need to be part of the Coco Crew. If you love staying ahead of the Sister Wives drama and getting the real, unfiltered story, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button right now, and more importantly, subscribe to Coco Gossip. Make sure you ring that notification bell because part 2 of this story is where the whole thing blows up and you will not want to miss a single second of the fallout. All right, let's get into it. The evidence. Last week, a series of grainy, long-lens photographs were reportedly snapped by a freelance paparazzo and began circulating on a private forum for television insiders. These photos have not been released to the public until now. Our source has described them to us in vivid detail. Photo number 1 shows Gwendlyn Brown and her wife Beatrice pulling up to a nondescript 2-story office building in a quiet suburb of Flagstaff. This isn't a flashy, well-known location. Our source says this building is known for housing discreet professional services, therapists, accountants, high-end lawyers. Gwen is seen getting out of the car. Her face, according to the description, is a mask of stone. No emotion. She looks determined, almost like she's walking into a battle, not a reconciliation. Beatrice stays in the car, a clear sign that this is something Gwen had to do alone. Photo number 2, taken just minutes later, shows Kody Brown arriving. He's not with Robyn. He's alone. He's seen pacing on the sidewalk, phone pressed to his ear, and the source says he looked incredibly agitated. He's gesturing wildly, his body language screaming frustration before he even steps foot inside. Who is he talking to? Robyn, a producer? We'll get to that. But this is the kicker. The third photo is the money shot. It's taken through the blinds of a first-floor window. Inside, you can just make out the back of Kody's head and Gwendlyn sitting opposite him. And in the corner of the room, partially hidden behind a plant, is a man with a small, discreet, broadcast-quality camera pointed right at them. This was not a private family moment. This was a shoot. This was content. So the question is, why? Why would Gwendlyn, who has been so openly critical of her father, who has called him manipulative, who has exposed his neglect on her own YouTube channel, ever agree to this? And why would Kody, who feels so betrayed by his older children, subject himself to a face-to-face confrontation with his most outspoken critic? The answer, as always with this family, is complicated, and it starts with TLC. Our production insider, who we will call Deep Sobin, to protect their identity, has laid out the entire scenario for us. According to Deep Sobin, the producers are in a state of panic. Viewership for Sister Wives is at an all-time high, but the sentiment towards Kody is at an all-time low. He's no longer the quirky polygamous patriarch. He's the villain of his own show. Advertisers get nervous. The network gets nervous. They desperately need to give Kody a redemption arc for the upcoming season. They need to show him trying. They need to manufacture a storyline where he's reaching out to his estranged children and attempting to heal the wounds he created. So, the producers allegedly approached Kody with a plan, a series of one-on-one mediated sessions with the kids who have turned against him. Starting with the one who has the biggest platform, Gwendlyn. Kody jumped at the chance. In his mind, this wasn't therapy. It was an opportunity to finally corner Gwen without her mother Christine there to defend her and put her in her place on camera. He believed he could control the narrative, play the victim, and talk about his broken heart and how his children have disrespected him. He saw this as his chance to win back public opinion. But what about Gwen? Why would she walk into the lion's den? This is where it gets messy. Gwen said no, repeatedly. She knew it was a trap. She knew it was for the show and not for genuine healing. But the producers, and allegedly Kody himself, were relentless. Deep Sobin tells us 2 major factors wore her down. First, the money. Let's be real, you guys. TLC has deep pockets. The source claims Gwendlyn was offered a significant 5-figure appearance fee for this one session alone. That is life-changing money for a young, newly married couple. It's a cynical move by production, but an effective one. They were essentially paying for a dramatic confrontation. Second, and this is the more heartbreaking part, was the emotional pressure. Our source alleges that the narrative being pushed was that this was for the family. Christine's new life and her spin-off, Cooking with Just Christine, are tied to the Sister Wives ecosystem. There was immense unspoken pressure on Gwen not to be the one who ruins things or refuses to participate, which could have contractual ripple effects. The source even claims Christine may have gently encouraged her, hoping that a conversation, even a forced one, was better than nothing. Gwen was caught between protecting herself and protecting her mom's newfound happiness and career. So she agreed, but she walked into that room with her eyes wide open. She wasn't there to cry and hug it out. She was there to collect a paycheck and, if given the chance, to speak her truth directly to her father's face, with a TLC camera rolling to make sure he couldn't deny it later. So the stage is set. Kody, a man desperate to reclaim his image, convinced of his own righteousness. Gwendlyn, a daughter armed with the truth, financially incentivized and emotionally pressured into a confrontation she never wanted. And the producers, sitting in a control room ready to capture the inevitable explosion. Our source was able to provide a play-by-play of the first hour of this therapy session. It started exactly as you'd expect. The producer-mediator opened with soft, gentle questions. Kody, tell us what you were hoping for today. Kody launched into a 20-minute monologue. He talked about his pain. He talked about how he'd given his life to his children only for them to stab him in the back. He cried. They were the same crocodile tears we've seen 100 times. He claimed he didn't even know why Gwen was mad at him. Gwen, in contrast, was silent. She let him talk. She let him perform for the camera. The producer then turned to her. Gwendlyn, what do you need from your father to feel heard? She was calm, methodical. She started listing things. She talked about him missing her engagement. She talked about the way he treated her mother. She talked about him favoring Robyn's children. With every point she made, Kody grew more and more red-faced. He interrupted, he denied, he deflected, he yelled that this was all Christine's poison. It was a stalemate. The producers knew they needed something more. They needed a moment that would define the season. So the mediator asked the question that would light the fuse. A simple question. Gwen, what is the one thing, the single biggest obstacle that prevents you from having a real relationship with your dad? Gwen was silent for a long, long time. You could hear a pin drop in the room. Kody was leaning forward, smirking, as if daring her to say it. And then she did. She looked him dead in the eye, and she said one sentence. One sentence so sharp, so targeted, and so undeniably true that it completely shattered Kody's composure. Upon hearing this sentence, Kody's face went from red to white. He ripped off the small microphone clipped to his shirt, threw it on the table, and screamed, "We are done! We are done!" He shoved his chair back, stormed past the stunned producer, and flew out of the room, leaving Gwendlyn sitting there alone in perfect, vindicated silence. Oh, so what was that sentence? What is the one truth Kody Brown absolutely cannot stand to hear? The conclusion to our bombshell report on Kody and Gwendlyn's secret filmed meeting. In this video, we reveal the exact sentence Gwen said that caused Kody to storm out of the therapy session. We also have insider details on the aftermath, Kody's enraged phone call, Robyn's reaction, and how TLC is handling the footage that Kody wants buried. This is the story of the year. I want to thank our source, Deep Sobin, for their courage in bringing this to light. What you are about to hear has been verified and is the talk of the production office. The producer asked the question, Gwen, what is the single biggest obstacle? Gwendlyn paused, looked directly at her father, ignoring the cameras, ignoring the producer, and said these exact words. Boom, there it is. It wasn't a complicated financial accusation. It wasn't a dramatic name-calling. It was a simple psychological truth that cuts to the absolute heart of every single problem in the Brown family for the last decade. She wasn't just saying he favored Robyn. She was saying that Kody Brown no longer has his own independent mind. He is no longer an individual father to his children. He is one half of a singular entity, Kody and Robyn. She was saying that every conversation, every decision, every emotion he has is filtered through and approved by his fourth and favorite wife. She essentially called him a puppet, not out of anger, but as a statement of fact. This is the one accusation Kody has no defense against, because all of his actions prove it's true. It's the reason Christine left. It's the reason Janelle is estranged. It's the reason the OG kids feel abandoned. And Gwendlyn, in one calm, devastating sentence, said the quiet part out loud, to his face, on camera. As we said in part 1, Kody immediately exploded. He screamed, "We are done!" and stormed out. But what happened next? Our source, Deep Sobin, gives us a jaw-dropping account of the immediate aftermath. The cameras didn't stop rolling. One camera followed Kody out to the parking lot. He was seen, in the photos we described in part 1, pacing and yelling into his phone. Who was he calling? You guessed it. Robyn, who overheard part of the production team's frantic discussion, says Kody was screaming into the phone, phrases like, "She ambushed me. It was a setup. She said I don't have my own monde. And this is Christine's fault. She put her up to this," while were clearly audible. He was apparently demanding that the producers delete the footage, calling it a hit job. But here's where Gwen showed she is truly Christine's daughter. While Kody was having a tantrum in the parking lot, what was Gwen doing? Crying? Running after him? No. Gwendlyn Brown calmly turned to the remaining producer and the cameraman still in the room and allegedly said, "Well, now that he's gone, can we talk for real?" You guys, this is a power move of epic proportions. Kody abandoning the scene was the best thing that could have happened for her. She now had a captive audience with the producers and an open forum to lay out her case, uninterrupted. For the next 45 minutes, Gwendlyn calmly and with incredible detail laid out her entire truth. She spoke about the financial disparities, the emotional neglect, the gaslighting. She provided specific examples. She gave TLC an entire season's worth of sound bites that are clear, concise, and completely damning. She essentially produced her own segment, turning Kody's failed ambush into her triumphant testimony. So what happens when a raging Kody gets home to the Shira Chateau? Our source says the fallout was, in their words, catastrophic. Kody came home and presented Robyn with his version of events, that he was attacked, that Gwen was cruel, and that she said Robyn controls him. Now, how do you think Robyn reacted? According to Deep Sobin, whose information comes from conversations within the production team who handle the Brown schedules, Robyn was devastated, but not in the way you think. She wasn't just sad, she was allegedly furious that Gwendlyn would expose their private family dynamic and put Kody in a position to be judged like that. The narrative in that house immediately became one of victimhood. Robyn was in tears for days, feeling attacked by Kody's other children yet again. This only served to reinforce Gwen's point. Kody's primary concern wasn't his broken relationship with his daughter. It was managing Robyn's feelings about the broken relationship. It proved Gwen's thesis in real time. This incident has, according to the source, driven Kody and Robyn even closer together, further isolating them on their defensive island of two. So now we have to talk about the final piece of this puzzle, the footage itself. TLC has, in its possession, what is possibly the most explosive scene in Sister Wives history. Kody Brown being confronted with a simple truth, having a complete meltdown, and abandoning his own reconciliation session. Kody and Robyn are reportedly leveraging their contracts, threatening to cease filming if the footage is used. They are demanding final cut approval, claiming the context was unfair and that Gwendlyn was coached to ambush him. On the other side, you have the producers and the network. They know this is television gold. This is the authentic drama viewers have been craving. It validates every feeling the audience has had for years. To bury this footage would be a betrayal of the viewers and would essentially be allowing Kody and Robyn to produce their own fictional show. There is a civil war happening within the production. One camp wants to appease Kody to keep the show going. The other camp is arguing that the show's credibility is on the line and that Gwendlyn's side of the story deserves to be aired. So what does this all mean? For Kody, his plan backfired spectacularly. His attempt at a redemption arc has now become his villain origin story on steroids. If this footage airs, there is no coming back. He will be exposed as a man who is not only neglectful, but who is fundamentally controlled by one wife and who cannot handle even a shred of gentle, honest criticism from his own child. For Gwendlyn, she emerges from this as a hero. She walked into a trap, stood her ground, spoke her truth with intelligence and calm, and won. She not only defended herself, but she brilliantly articulated the core issue of the entire family. She has solidified her position as the most honest and powerful voice of her generation of Browns. And for us, the viewers, we are on the brink of either the most honest season of Sister Wives ever filmed, or the biggest cover-up in reality TV history. Whether or not TLC airs this footage will tell us everything we need to know about who really holds the power in the Brown family. So now I turn it over to you, Coco Crew. What do you think? Do you believe Gwen's quote was the ultimate truth bomb? Do you think Kody's reaction proves her point? And most importantly, do you think TLC will have the guts to air the footage? Let me know your explosive thoughts in the comments below. I will be down there reading and replying to every single one. Don't forget to like this video. If you appreciate this kind of deep dive reporting, subscribe to Coco Gossip and hit that notification bell because the secrets from this season are only just beginning to spill, and we'll be here to catch every single drop. Until next time, stay shady. All right, let's start with the seismic shockwaves ripping through Flagstaff. For years, fans have speculated about Robyn's financial standing and her alleged preferential treatment. But sources close to the family hinted that something monumental was brewing. And when the case went public, it revealed a web of financial mismanagement, asset concealment, and accusations of marital favoritism that bled into business decisions. At the heart of it all, can you believe it? Documents laid bare that Robyn had maintained exclusive use of a high-value Flagstaff property that was originally purchased with communal funds. And despite repeated requests from attorneys representing both Meri and Janelle, Robyn allegedly refused to provide a full accounting of shared marital assets, citing privacy concerns and ongoing emotional distress. But guess what? The legal language was crystal clear. Robyn was not entitled to sole occupancy of a home that was purchased under the family trust, especially after Kody had defaulted on joint responsibilities tied to it. Ouch. And if that wasn't enough to make your jaw drop, court filings went on to expose Robyn's financial reality in stark, brutal terms. Far from the image of stability she'd projected, her disclosures painted a picture of growing debt, unpaid property taxes, and dwindling income streams. With filming on pause and fan backlash surging, her sponsorships have apparently dried up, leaving Robyn asset-rich but cash-poor and with nowhere to turn. It seems the post-Kody era hasn't been kind to her, has it? But while Robyn's world was crumbling, these two women, often relegated to background players in Robyn's storyline, finally took matters into their own hands, and their timing absolutely ruthless. Just days before the court hearing, Meri's legal team dropped a bombshell financial review. What did it reveal? That significant funds from shared family ventures, including a controversial now-defunct jewelry business, had been rerouted into a private LLC controlled by Kody and Robyn. And Janelle's attorneys? They added fuel to the fire, accusing Robyn of leveraging family credit to fund home improvements, private school tuition, and even cosmetic procedures. All this while the other wives reportedly struggled to access even the most basic family resources. The court's response was swift and decisive. Not only was Robyn stripped of property control, but Meri and Janelle were granted provisional access to the family trust's remaining funds pending a full forensic audit. This was described as a legal masterstroke, and online fans were absolutely ecstatic, flooding social media with hashtags like #JusticeForJanelle and #MaryWins. Many viewers saw this ruling as poetic justice, with the symbolism being simply delicious. Robyn, once the last wife standing, might now be the first to lose everything. The emotional fallout was equally fascinating. Insiders suggest Robyn left the courthouse visibly shaken, her usual composure utterly broken. Kody, notably absent from the proceedings, was later spotted entering a law office in Flagstaff, reportedly scrambling to retain a new legal team to help Robyn appeal the ruling. However, legal experts doubt he will succeed, as the judge's order was clear and well supported by documentation. And Mary and Janelle's reactions? That truly spoke volumes, didn't it? Mary followed up with a rare selfie, smiling confidently and seemingly unbothered, with the caption, "Alignment finally." While neither woman has spoken directly about the ruling, their tone suggests they've truly moved from just surviving to absolutely thriving. Now, let's talk about another massive bombshell, courtesy of Christine is currently promoting her new book, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom, set to be released on September 2nd, 2025. And from what she's teased in an Instagram post, she is leaving absolutely no stones unturned when it comes to her ex-husband, Kody. Veteran, we were led to believe that Kody rushed to Christine's side, a picture of a loving, supportive husband. But according to Christine's new book excerpt, that was a complete fabrication. Christine reveals that on that day, her sarcasm was palpable as she added, "He needed to check in, I don't know, the kids, her feelings about my labor." This particular event from Season 1, Episode 4, titled Third Wife in Labor, saw Kody choosing to meet Robyn instead of supporting Christine in the hospital. Even more shocking, Christine's account touches on, Robyn tried to quietly close the door behind Kody, but the cameras caught their kiss as he left to return to Christine, who was in active labor. While Robyn later downplayed this as little church kisses in a Season 19 episode, claiming they didn't kiss until they were engaged, Christine's revelation completely contradicts that narrative, exposing a deliberate act of deception that was seemingly covered up by TLC. Fans are many believe the early seasons portrayed a harmonious polygamous marriage, slowly falling apart. But Christine's book suggests Kody's favoritism and neglect were present from the very beginning. This isn't just an isolated incident. It speaks to Kody's long-standing pattern of emotional neglect and clear favoritism towards Robyn, neglecting his other wives and even his children. Christine herself stated in a vulnerable confessional, "I was never enough for him, but Robyn was." That's a gut punch, isn't it? And this book promises even more. Christine might delve into her regrets about advocating for the legalization of polygamy and even the shocking murder of her grandfather Rulon, which has never been discussed on the show. So, if you're eager for more of these eye-opening revelations, Christine's book is definitely one to pre-order. The cracks in the Brown family's facade have truly turned into gaping chasms. And it's not just the ex-wives speaking out now. Gabriel Brown was one of the first to break the silence, and his account is heartbreakingly raw. When Kody missed Gabriel's college graduation, there was no excuse good enough. Gabriel knew exactly why his father hadn't shown up. Because Robyn's needs came first again, still always. And when Gabriel confronted him about it, Kody's cold response was simply, "Get over it." That landed like a freight train across social media, with viewers furious and rallying behind Gabriel with hashtags like #TeamGabriel. Missing a graduation isn't just forgetting to show up. It's a message you don't matter. Then came Gwendlyn, Kody, and Christine's daughter, who stated plainly that this echoed what many fans had suspected. Kody's behavior was about control and submission, not love. Kody, for his part, has tried to spin the narrative, claiming he was, but Christine firmly states that she don't talk trash on Kody to my kids ever, and wishes he would reach out more. It's become incredibly clear that he openly favored Robyn's children, often showing up for them while ignoring birthdays and milestones for the rest of his kids. This consistent pattern of emotional neglect and gaslighting has been a recurring theme throughout the series. In fact, some experts are now debating, And despite Todd Chrisley's legal troubles and spectacular downfall, Kody Brown is argued to take the crown because Todd's damage, while severe, came with a hard stop. The law intervened, the story had a clear arc. But Kody's dysfunction is still unraveling, and it's happening in real time. He continues to decimate relationships under the guise of leadership, using faith and favoritism to justify his every move. The emotional toll on his family is very much ongoing, and Robyn's role in all of this, she's been increasingly viewed as she's been accused of enabling Kody to be the absolute worst, while centering her own desires and anxieties. A poignant example. During season 19, Robyn admitted that when she and Kody traveled, they used the family's limited travel storage for her things, but Christine and Janelle's luggage was dumped on the floor. While Robyn dismissed it as not a big deal, for the other wives, it wasn't about luggage, it symbolized everything. The hierarchy, the double standard, the small humiliations that told Christine she wasn't wanted that made Janelle feel like an accessory, not a partner. This was favoritism turned into policy. Even Janelle, the quietest of the wives, shifted. She stopped waiting to be picked. She said in her final confessional that she stayed because of the kids and believed in the idea of plural marriage. But what Kody wanted in the end was obedience, not love. She looked at the camera, steady, clear, and said, "I know who I am, and I don't have to be Robyn." Powerful words for a woman finally setting down the weight she'd carried for decades. After season 19 wrapped, Kody didn't go quiet. He went live. Reportedly, he had messy hair, bloodshot eyes, and a shaky YouTube stream where he rambled about being misunderstood. He claimed the internet had turned him into a villain, but the energy was different. No confidence, no leadership, just contradiction and deflection. The pieces of Kody's identity as husband, father, patriarch are coming loose, leaving a man desperate to regain control in a dynamic that never really served the people around him, only himself. The real story of Robyn Brown once held the keys to Kody's heart, and for a while it seemed she had his empire too. But now that empire is fractured, the crown is slipping, and the women she thought were left behind just walked away with the win of a lifetime. What do you think, Coco Gossip fans? Was Robyn ever truly the victim, or has she always been the final boss? And what about Kody? Has he finally been exposed for the man he truly is?